Erie Nua Fisheries. The fishing industry, after a long period of decline, has begun to increase its production again. This process has been based on the growth of fishermen's cooperatives employing boats in the 30 to 50 foot, 9 to 15 meters class, well adapted to inshore fishing based on a large number of small fishing ports. The 26 county government, operating through a state-sponsored body, an onboard Mara, is making attempts to develop the industry, but on the basis and in a direction considered to be unsound by the fishermen themselves, taking the advice of foreign experts whose contacts when in the country did not include spokesmen of the principal fishermen's cooperatives. The board has established a policy of calling a halt to the supply of 30 to 50 foot, 9 to 15 meters boats, and concentrating on boats considered by them to be large, 70 to 90 feet, 21 to 28 meters, in order allegedly to build up deep-sea fishing and to concentrate development on 5 major ports only. This policy is based on slavish imitation and misunderstanding of the foreigner's practice. This consists in building large boats to fish other people's waters, mainly ours and Iceland's, their own already being well exploited by a large fleet of small locally based boats. Our own waters, however, are so underdeveloped by our own efforts that there is ample scope for considerable expansion of numbers of small locally owned boats. The need to concentrate capital immediately in large boats is not evident. The concentration policy, in fact, makes it more difficult for fishermen cooperatively to become owners of boats and favors an exploitative industrial structure, with large boats privately owned or state-owned and employing crews for wages. This favors the existing privately owned wholesale trading and fish processing factory network, as might be expected in view of the fact that these interests are represented on the board, while the interests of the fishermen are not. The domination of the marketing structure by the private wholesalers has had the effect of fostering disunity between 6 county and 26 county fishermen. The former, on occasions, having become locally unpopular on the grounds that the landing of their catch at a 26 county port has depressed the price. This, however, is a consequence of the fishermen's lack of control over their market rather than any objective conflict of interest between the two groups. There is therefore scope as an immediate objective for a 32 county fishermen's cooperative organization to develop a cooperative marketing structure with retail outlets as well as cooperative local processing establishments, smoking, salting, pickling, canning, etc. It would perhaps be advantageous to combine this with agricultural, horticultural, cooperative developments in the West, as the seasonal character of the vegetable work might be made to interlock with fish processing in the off-season. An interlocking of the financial aspects of the two cooperative groups would enable development funds to be allocated in a productive manner on a scale possible for either movement separately. While considerable possibilities exist for developing the industry by local initiative and cooperative effort within the existing framework, such efforts, as in the case of agriculture and forestry, are liable to meet with political obstacles due to the entrenchment of money trade and industrial interests in the political structure. However, the maximum development of a national cooperative movement will constitute a step towards the changing of the political structure. It is therefore our policy to give the maximum support to these developments. Ultimately, a Sinn Féin government will foster to the full the development of local fishing fleets, local processing, boat building, etc., and will recognize and give credit to all types of cooperative development. When the inshore waters are adequately exploited by small locally owned boats, a deep sea fleet will be established, complete with factory ships oriented towards the fish-hungry export markets of Central and Eastern Europe. A fisheries research institute will be established, whose task will be to keep fish populations under constant surveillance, to develop and adapt new methods of locating shoals, to look into methods of fish farming, etc. A communication network will be established so that transport and marketing facilities can be made to adapt themselves to the continually changing needs of the fishing fleets. The promotion and popularization of seafood will be given a high priority. All fishing rights in inland lakes and waterways and within the territorial waters of the nation will be vested in the national government, acting as trustees for the Irish people, and will be administered cooperatively at local level. The right to fish and use these waters will be granted to all citizens under license. Adequate provision will be made for the protection of our territorial waters from foreign poachers.